Hello, in this video tutorial, we will be talking about Unit 3, Activity 2. So if we take a look at our announcements here, I'm going to start with an announcement that I posted earlier today about summer school. Everyone who's in a hybrid class should have received an email already from their guidance counselor or from the St. Michael's office about summer school. If you are planning on registering for summer school and haven't already, you can click on this link right here. You can apply for face-to-face or online classes during the summer. You have to apply for summer school yourself, though. The guidance counselors can't prearrange it for you because technically summer school is not run through St. Michael's. So you have to click on this link and apply for yourself. That said, if you have any questions or concerns, you can definitely email or ask your guidance counselor and they can answer any of your questions. With that said, we're going to move down to the previous activity, Unit 3, Activity 2, and we're continuing this week with workplace communication. So all of Unit 3 is about workplace communication. And in this particular activity, we are going to focus on resumes and cover letters. And by the ending of the activity, you're going to write for me your own resume and cover letter, which some of you might have done before. I will point out there's a note at the bottom. Next Monday, May 18th, is Victoria Day. It's a holiday, so St. Michael's will be closed. So after this week, our next activity will not be introduced until Tuesday, May 19th. So next week we'll be starting a day late. With that said, let's jump into Unit 3, Activity 2. Let's see here. I'll make it full screen. All right, so like I said, this activity is going to focus on resumes and cover letters. Much of the rest of the world does not use the term resume. I know in many places they use the term CV instead, but they're similar, the idea of a resume and a CV. So you're going to learn how to do a North American style resume and cover letter in this activity. It's not a very long activity. It's got a little bit of information on both the resume and a cover letter, a little bit of practice, and then you're going to try to create your own. So if we go through here, it starts with an explanation of the importance of a resume and a cover letter and how you would use them. It asks you to do a little bit of an internet search on your own about some of the problems and some of the what we can call typos, some of the mistakes that students make in a resume or a cover letter. You want to make sure that you avoid spelling, grammar, language use errors. And if you take a look online, they'll give you some examples and they'll tell you exactly why. And so it gets you started here trying to explain how important it is to take a resume and a cover letter seriously and to make sure that there are no writing errors. Then it's going to get into how to write a cover letter. And they're going to give you an explanation, and then they're going to give you a sample cover letter that you can take a look at here. So you see contact information for yourself and for the place in which you're applying. You've got an example of what a cover letter would look like, and then you've got a sincerely and your name at the bottom. You're asked to take some notes here, try to deconstruct this cover letter and see if you can answer some questions about what's being conveyed in the cover letter, and consider what you think is most important. When you're writing a cover letter, and I guess this is dependent on the job that you're applying for, and it depends on your background and your qualifications, but skills, experiences, attitudes, all of these things, education, all of these things could be emphasized in the cover letter in the right context. And so they're going to ask you to kind of explain what you think is most important in a cover letter. Okay. And then if we go on here, we'll get into resumes. And so a cover letter sort of goes in front of a resume. You usually give them or hand them in together when you're applying for a job. And oftentimes now we submit a cover letter and a resume together electronically online. So the two go hand in hand. And so they give you an example of a resume right here, and then they give you some questions to consider again in your notes. Look over these samples carefully and make sure that you're understanding what needs to be included and what should be left out of a cover letter and a resume, because when you get to the bottom, the consolidation here, you're going to be asked to create your own cover letter and resume. And so you're going to be asked to apply to one of three jobs. Pick whichever one of these three jobs you like, whichever one is closest to something you're interested in, would probably be a good choice. So you can pick massage therapist, you can pick landscaper, you can pick electrical apprentice. Okay, so one of those three, just for the sake of this assignment, please stick to one of these three. Don't choose something different. Okay. Your second task is to open up this document here, which I'll open up in a second, and to write a resume and a cover letter that would fit, that would go with one of these job applications. Okay. So if we click on the resume cover letter Google Doc together here. Oh, sorry. Got to make sure I'm a student here first. Let me do this again. Oh, there we go. So if we take a look at resume and cover letter here, as always, you're going to make your own copy. And you're just going to fill out this page. And so they're going to remind you in step one, they're going to remind you about the three jobs that you can apply for. You can do a little bit of online research to find out more about what would be required for each of these jobs. And then you're going to write me the name of the job you've chosen and provide any research that you found online about that job. And then it says to cite your research. So if you remember back to Unit 2, we talked about how to write a citation. So let me know where you found your research by giving me the author, the article title, the website title, the publisher, the date. You're going to give me a proper citation for your research. So again, where did you cite the website where you found your information? Okay. And then you're going to go down here and you're going to include a resume and you're going to format it properly. And if we go down further, you're going to include a cover letter. Okay. And use the structure and the style that we learned in this activity, in activity 3.2. You might already have a resume and you might already have a cover letter that you've previously written, but make sure if you're going to use that as a template, that's fine, but make sure that you're using the proper structure that we're talking about in activity 3.2, and make sure that you're tailoring the resume to the job that you're applying for, whether it be the massage therapist, the landscaper, or the electrical apprentice. So again, the goal is to show that you can tailor or that you can create a cover letter and a resume that includes your background and your experience and your presents you and sells you for who you are, but at the same time, the cover letter and the resume should be tailored specifically to the job that you're applying for. If you're having any trouble with this, please let me know. You do have until next Monday to finish this because we do have a holiday next Monday. So we will continue with our look at workplace communication next week in Unit 3, Activity 3. Have a good week.